And welcome to another episode of Geek Bytes podcast. This is episode 59 of the podcast. I'm Ramon Mejia, and this week I'm flying solo. This week on the podcast, we bring the biggest guests, geek and tech news, and we discuss that news, of course, and of course anything else that we are interested in that week. In geek news this week, we're going to talk about, Microsoft sues Washington, the new Amazon Kindle that was released, Singapore's Gigabit LTE, the entertainment news from CinemaCon, the best trailers of the week, and much, much more. Though we are now going to begin our show with geek news. And our first story in geek news: Microsoft sues Washington, D.C. Microsoft filed a suit against U.S. federal court in Western District of Washington for the right to inform customers of government requests for emails and other documents. Microsoft says for the past 18 months, it has received over 5,264 legal orders under the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, and of those, 2,576 prevented disclosure to customers. 78% rather, of those had no end date in their secrecy. What this means is that Microsoft's getting a bunch of requests from government agencies requesting information about their customers. Microsoft does not like this, and they've sued the government to allow them to notify their customers when this type of stuff happens. Now, there is current legislation on the books that has recently passed the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, requiring all authorities to get a court order warrant to obtain email stored in the cloud. This is a slightly connected issue in the fact that authorities now have to treat information in the cloud the same way that they would information that's physical and that's in your home. They need a warrant. This does not address Microsoft's issue, unfortunately, of wanting to notify their customers when these type of requests happen. So I'm happy to see that Microsoft is on the side of the consumer at this point. Our next story, however, is going to be about Amazon Kindle. There is a new Amazon Kindle available right now. It's called the Oasis. The Verge reports that an accidentally published page on Tmall gave a very early look at Amazon's Kindle Oasis happening this early, about Monday or Tuesday. It has a large bezel on one side. It has a 300 ppi screen. It weighs about 131 grams. It goes from 3.4 millimeters to 8.5 millimeters and thick. And of course, we now have more information that it has officially been released as well. It has a rechargeable battery case that comes standard with your purchase, with magnets that attach the Kindle to it. It comes in 3 colors: red, brown, and black, and it sells for a whopping $289, and it begins shipping on April 27th, 2016. So not too far. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can order it now. You get it shipped by April 27th. This is probably one of the most expensive Kindles around. Now, the original Kindle was about $300, but that was several generations ago. This one looks a little bit different. And if you're into getting the latest and greatest thing in Kindle e-readers, this is probably going to be for you. Our next story is going to be about Singapore getting Gigabit LTE. Now, LTE is the kind of cell coverage for internet that you get for your phone, and the fact that it's even theoretically possible to get 1 gigabit per second, that is amazing. Now, the story again is isolated to Singapore. CNN reports that Singapore's carrier StarHub is partnering with Huawei to bring you gigabit LTE to Singapore in spring of 2017. The 4.5G service, which promises to roll out in the central business district, will improve speeds on small cell network carriers. The service will only be achievable indoors, however. So sad. The technology uses mini cell towers to blanket an area such as a small wall or an office building with coverage. Devices that can take care of these speeds don't exist. StarHub, however, is still the currently leader in the fastest LTE operator. They currently have speeds up to 38 megabytes per second. And now for comparison, you probably get max about 3 megabytes per second on your carrier. So the fact that this company already holds the record for the best coverage for LTE at 38 megabytes per second is already good. The fact that they're trying to increase that to gigabit per second. That is absolutely amazing. That's similar speeds that you would get with Google Fiber, only it's on your cell phone. So there were no details on pricing, whether or not it's going to be coming to other parts of the world or in the United States. That's unfortunate. But there are other plans from companies like Facebook to implement similar things in the United States. Our next story, talking about Facebook, Facebook chatbots and camera, further proving that this is the year of bots and VR. Facebook announced some very interesting new products this week. Facebook announced Agents on Messenger. Now, this is a program catering to businesses who want to create chatbots for customer service, e-commerce, and much more. Customers can send text chats to a chatbot, and they'll respond with text, custom links, and buttons that allow users to ask questions, pay for items, book rooms, or even airline tickets. Now, if you're not sure what a chatbot is, you probably wouldn't recognize one if you talk to one. These are basically automated artificial intelligence-like programs on computer system that humans can talk to physically, verbally, or via text. Programs like Siri or Cortana on your phone are examples of chatbot-like interfaces. In this case, this is going to go through Facebook. I'll give you a quick picture of that. Bam, that's a chatbot thing. User, chatbot. There you go. Facebook also launched a live video API this week that lets you broadcast to Facebook from any device that you have. So they're really trying to push their live broadcasting features, and they're giving you the tools to do so. The company also revealed an open source VR camera called Surround 360. It has the 17-lens camera, requires almost no post-production work. Rather than selling it, however, Facebook is actually giving all the plans and the software away for free on GitHub. Parts are estimated to cost around $30,000 though. So not the amateur VR option, more of the mid-range professional, I would say. It looks a little wonky. We'll give you a picture right now. Yep, there it is. That's their 360 camera, 16 cameras worth. And again, but however, they're being real nice about it. They developed it, got the software working, but they're giving all the plans away for free. You just got to purchase the stuff and build it yourself. So I think that kind of shows how much faith Facebook has in both chatbots and virtual reality, that they're providing all this stuff for their users to use for their content. Now, the next story also includes Facebook. Facebook is ending freebooting, or at least they're attempting to. Freebooting is the practice of using someone else's video without permission on Facebook. Not cool, guys. Tuesday of this week, Facebook launched Rights Manager, its own version of YouTube's Content ID. Facebook page managers can now upload a video, they can claim it as their own, and if their automatic algorithm detects that it's being used by someone else, a match will be made and a notification can be sent to the offender, and it can automatically report it as a violation. Now, whitelist can be created for pages to allow other people to republish their stuff without being flagged as content violations. So basically, you can have a certain list of people that you want to be able to use your videos without them being flagged as being copyright infringements. So that's kind of cool. That's a neat twist. For now, though, content owners must apply through Facebook to get access to the dashboard and the API. This is kind of cool just because as a content maker, you want to be able to claim credit for your stuff. You want to claim income from your things, especially if you're introducing ads. You have certain sponsors that content is created for. You don't want other people to be able to grab your stuff and kind of take all your work and profit from it. That's not cool. On the other side, YouTube's Content ID Manager is kind of a pain, and it's not super effective a lot of times. And I'm personally just hoping that Facebook is going to do a better job. Now, our next story involves Instagram. Instagram has made a change to its Explore page, adding new video channels and including a channel called Videos You Might Like. Other channels are curated around topics like Coachella or particular people. So they're really adding just a video content page for their Instagram users. The update is already live. It comes to iOS and Android today, and other countries will be getting this particular update very soon. So if you're into Instagram and you like videos, this is going to be cool for you. On to some of our entertainment news from CinemaCon in Las Vegas. It's currently happening right now, folks. There's lots more entertainment that's going to come out, but these are the big stories that came out this week. Beginning with, of course, Avatar. This week, James Cameron announced at CinemaCon that his hit movie Avatar, one of the highest grossing movies of all times internationally, is getting not one, but four sequels, folks. Now, I don't know who this is intended for. Probably the international audience more than not. But Avatar 2 is going to be released Christmas 2018, with sequels following Christmas time 2020, 2022, and 2023. So if you're a big Avatar fan, you're going to love this announcement. Everyone else is like, meh, but it's a film that made a ton of money, and hopefully the movies will improve in their content. Now, our next bit of entertainment news from CinemaCon is that Batfleck is going to direct a Batman solo film. Hey, so no more Sadfleck. He's going to be a happy Batfleck at this point. Kevin Smith said it first this week, but Warner Brothers confirmed that there's going to be a standalone Batman movie. And of course, Ben Affleck is going to not just star in it, he's also going to write and direct it. So I'm kind of digging this, to be honest. Most of the reviews of Batman versus Superman were rather critical of the film. They thought, though, for the most part, that Ben Affleck did a really good job as Batman. And I agree. In our review on our website at geekbytespodcast.com, we made similar comparisons that Ben Affleck really did a pretty decent job as, Bruce Wayne or Batman. So the fact that he also has the acting and directing and writing chops, he's won a ton of awards, Academy Awards for other films that he's done and directed and written. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he is going to do a good job, and I'll wait to actually see the project before I judge it. But I have high hopes for it. Our next entertainment story, Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover. Now, if you haven't heard, there is, in fact, in writing production for a crossover between 21 Jump Street, starring a couple of guys you might know, and Men in Black, another couple of guys you might know. Those two franchises are going to get smushed together. And this week at CinemaCon, we got the announcement for their actual title for this kind of a weird crossover. It's going to be called MIB 23. That's it. It's not the most original title, but it does kind of show the mushing together of the two franchises. Now, it's not the creative title, but it's going to be made up hopefully by seeing Jonah Hill shoot some aliens in the near future. So I'm excited for that. I love the two franchises individually. 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, they're hilarious films. Men in Black is a comedy as well, but it's also more of a serious sci-fi entertainment. And hopefully, we're going to mush them well. So maybe both characters in 21 Jump Street are going to be the new Men in Blacks, and they're going to kick some alien butt. Speaking of course, Channing Tatum, he announced this week during CinemaCon that he would be joining the sequel to The Kingsman. Yeah, that's correct. The Kingsman, The Golden Circle, is still casting, of course. The first film, The Kingsman, was quite a success internationally, mostly in Britain, also in the United States. I love the film personally. We talked about it on the podcast. Love the twist on the spy franchise. It's less James Bond, a little more actiony. The main character is a younger guy in his 20s. Growing up in a hard lifestyle, he became the Kingsman, or essentially a James Bond-like character. Channing Tatum has announced that he is signed on for the film. There are no details as to what his role is going to be. So he might be a villain. He might play a villain role. He might be the American version of the Kingsman, serving in the United States, and they might work together to fight villainy and terrorism or whatever it's going to be. But it's a good premise. So I like the fact that we're getting some new characters. Now, our last bit of entertainment from CinemaCon is going to be about Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch was announced from Illumination Entertainment that he is going to be voicing the voice of the Grinch in the company's latest foray into film. It's going to be, the title of the movie is called How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a very familiar title, of course. And Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be the voice of the Grinch. The movie already has a release date of November 10th, 2017. So a little over a year and a half away from now. But Benedict Cumberbatch has done some great voiceover work. He did Smaug in the Hobbit movies as the dragon. Did a wonderful job. He's done some other voiceover work. I love him as an actor. Love him as a voiceover artist. I only have high hopes for this. So great for that. Now, that's going to be, of course, for our Geek News section. We are going to move on to our Trailers of the Week section. Okay, in our trailers of the week section, we discussed the best trailers that came out this week. Now, remember, of course, you can always watch all the full trailers at geekbytespodcast.com, though we are going to begin with the Suicide Squad. Let's see. The Suicide Squad, of course, is the latest foray for Marvel into this kind of universe. First Bohemian Rhapsody, and now the Bobber and Blitz. The Suicide Squad seems to have the most fun music from the 1970s, and it is in theaters, of course, August 5th, 2016. You get to see some of the fun nature of these characters. You get to see a little more of everyone's personality, a little more film footage, and of course, Harley Quinn obviously steals the show with this. Our next trailer, however, is going to be The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. We get a brief glimpse into the American Magical Society from the 1920s. The fiction release from Pottermore site gives us a bit of a clue as to some of the issues that are going to be shown in this film. Magical segregation, secrecy. In America, magical societies are highly segregated from the general government culture and the government American culture, which is very different from how it is handled in Britain, where Muggle government and magical societies kind of interact, and one knows the others exist. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm more than happy to see a new movie within this fantastic universe. I'm a huge fan of the franchise personally, and it's going to be, of course, in theaters November 18th, 2016. Now, our next great trailer is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows. Now, the more that I see of this film, the bigger of a fan I am. Every trailer makes me more excited to see it. In the trailer, we get to see more battles of Shredder. We get to see more action and adventure. We get to see a little more of Krang and the alien invasion. But there's also a very interesting subplot in the trailer that's kind of shown that the Turtles have a very important need to be a part of a community, that they actually want to be human, and they think that the mutagen that Shredder uses to create his animal cohorts might be used to make them human as well. So that is an interesting plot point that kind of humanizes the Turtles that didn't happen in the first film, and I'm hoping that this one is actually just going to be a better film overall. Our last trailer of the week, though, is the one that I am the absolutely most excited about. It is Doctor Strange. This is a teaser trailer. It's only 1 minute and 56 seconds, but I gotta say that it is a bit of magical goodness. We get to see Stephen Vincent Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch go from broken surgeon to sorcerer supreme with the help of the Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton. The visuals in this film are absolutely jaw-dropping. There's culture. If you don't know the story of course, of Doctor Strange, he was a surgeon. He got in a car accident. He lost the use of his hands. His hands are totally crushed, and he goes around the world searching for any kind of cure, whether mystical, magical, or traditional medicine. He's going through it all, trying to find a way to help people again. He runs into the Ancient One, who gives him a glimpse into the magical world that exists layered over the normal world. And of course, as you can see from the trailer, it's great. The visuals remind me again of Inception, that mind-altering, reality-bending kind of thing going on, and I'm loving it. This is Marvel's first venture into the magical realm that is in their comics, and it's going to lead to a bunch of other new great story opportunities within the universe besides just general superheroes and science kind of stuff going on. So I love it. Looking forward to it. And that movie is in theaters, of course, this year, November 4th, 2016. You're going to be able to watch it before you see Rogue One by about a month, which is great timing on Marvel's part. You don't want to go up against Disney. Now, that's, of course, going to be it for our trailers of the week section, folks. I got to say, I love those trailers personally. I think they're amazing. That's going to be most of it for our show, folks. I'm by myself. There's not much to discuss, so there's no discussion section. But I do want to let you know that we are going to have some really great content coming up very soon for the website, including author interviews for some of the authors that we really love and enjoy, and also a nice piece of writing called A Lady Geek's Guide to Romance Novels. So for our lady fans, we have something written by and for our lady geeks. However, we couldn't create any of this content without your support. The podcast and the website are 100% supported by you folks. Without you, we literally could not make any of this content, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much for anyone who listens or reads our content. Thank you. Now, if you are not a supporter and you do want to be one, you can support us at patreon.com/Geek Bytes podcast. Patreon is spelled patreon.com/Geek Bytes podcast, all one squished together word. Now, our current goal on our Patreon is to get about 10 more Patreon subscribers so that we can start producing even more content for you, the listeners, viewers, readers. Now, of course, if you can support us financially with a monthly donation at Patreon, there are a lot of other ways you can support us. You can find them all at geekbytespodcast.com/support. Thank you very much for listening, though. I'm for Geek Bytes Podcast, though. I'm Ramon Mejia. And now, go geek out about something, folks.